Mr. President, it's been said that nothing is certain but death and taxes. To that nowadays, we might add bad news about Obamacare. Because if there's one thing we can count on, it's bad news about this fatally flawed law. High premium costs, huge deductibles, consumers losing health plans, customers losing doctors, fewer choices, failed co-ops, unraveling exchanges, and I could go on. Mr. President, there's no question that our health care system had problems before Obamacare was passed. Reforms clearly were needed. But as the past 7 years have made clear, Obamacare was not the answer. And this law is rapidly collapsing under its own weight. Here's a sampling. This is a sampling of recent Obamacare headlines. This is from Bloomberg, and I quote, "Thousands of Obamacare customers left without options as insurers bolt," end quote. This is from CNBC. Aetna will exit Obamacare markets in Virginia in 2018, citing expected losses on individual plans this year, end quote. From the Arizona Republic, consumers seek relief as Obamacare rates rise, end quote. From USA Today, Iowa may be without individual health plans if insurer pulls out, end quote. Mr. President, in February of this year, Mark Bertolini, CEO of health insurance company Aetna, asserted that Obamacare is in a death spiral. Well, there's a good reason to think that he's right. Significant losses are driving health insurers out of the exchanges. Last year, Aetna announced that it would withdraw from 11 of the 15 states where it offered exchange plans. Humana said it would exit several exchanges. And mega insurer United Healthcare announced that it was pulling out of most of the 34 states where it offered exchange plans. Roughly 1/3 of U.S. counties have just one choice of health insurer on their exchange for 2017. And the situation looks likely to get much worse next year. In February, health insurer Humana announced its decision to completely withdraw from the Obamacare exchanges for 2018. Aetna is pulling out of 2 of the 4 states where it still offers plans in 2018 and has indicated that it may pull back even further. Wellmark is leaving Iowa. United Healthcare is leaving Virginia. And other insurers are contemplating similar exits. The New York Times reported in March, and I quote, Obamacare choices could go from 1 to 0 in some areas. Parts of the country, the Times goes on, says, are in jeopardy of not having an insurer offering Obamacare plans next year. And the quote goes on, many counties already have just one insurer offering health plans in the Obamacare marketplaces, and some of those solo insurers are showing signs that they are eyeing the exits, end quote. And that again, Mr. President, from the New York Times. Well, what that means is that tens of thousands of Americans may have Obamacare subsidies next year without insurance plans to spend them on. As my colleague, Senator Alexander, who does so much good work on health care as chairman of the Health Committee, has said, it's like having a bus ticket in a town with no buses running. And while Americans' health insurance options dwindle, their premiums are rising. Mid-level Obamacare plans saw an average 25% premium increase for 2017. A 25% increase for just 1 year. And that's on top of years of premium increases under Obamacare. And what are Americans with those plans paying for? Well, the odds are good that they're paying for a plan with limited choices of doctors and hospitals. A 2016 study of 18 states and Washington, D.C. found that 75% of their exchange plans for 2017 would likely be health maintenance organizations or exclusive provider organizations, 2 types of plans that tend to offer narrow provider networks. Mr. President, in his joint address to Congress at the end of February, the President said of Obamacare, action is not a choice, it is a necessity. And he's exactly right. Obamacare is collapsing and the status quo is not sustainable. Unless we want millions of Americans to face health care disaster, we have to repeal and replace this law. Last week, the House passed an Obamacare repeal and replacement bill. This legislation repeals Obamacare's tax increases, penalties, and mandates, and starts the process of restoring control of health care to states and individuals. The House has made a good start, and I'm looking forward to getting to build on their bill here in the United States Senate. Mr. President, I want to make sure we amend the House tax credit to ensure that the assistance is better targeted to those who need it the most. I'm looking forward to working with my colleague, Chairman Alexander, Chairman Hatch, on the Finance Committee, Policy Committee Chairman Barrasso, and many others to make sure that we have a bill that will provide the American people with real relief. Mr. President, Obamacare was founded on the premise that government knows best when it comes to individuals' health care, and that a one-size-fits-all solution is somehow the best solution. But we know now that's not the case. Individuals know best. Their doctors know best. Government doesn't know best. It's absurd to think that a massive federal bureaucracy can hand down one comprehensive solution that will somehow meet the needs of hundreds of millions of individuals in this country. Mr. President, we need to move control from Washington and give it back to states so that they can embrace health care innovations and solutions that work for the individuals and their particular needs in their state. Republicans are working to implement the kind of health care reform the American people are looking for. More affordable, more personal, more flexible, and less bureaucratic. Mr. President, Americans have had enough of Obamacare's problems. They are ready for health care reform that actually works, and we're committed to giving it to them.